Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Elvyn, and today's video will contain spoilers. This video will contain spoilers. I repeat, if you don't want to be spoiled anything about allied races, this video will contain spoilers. Now that everybody who doesn't want to get spoiled should be out of here, let's talk and let's look at the allied races stuff that they have with courtesy of Wowhead. In this video, I kind of want to just take a look at this footage. I just threw it onto Sony Vegas. I haven't looked at any of it, and the allied races is an interesting concept because it's basically a new race with brand new racials, but some of the allied races don't really make sense in how they integrate themselves into the World of Warcraft culture that we have today. Primarily the Lightforged Draenei, I guess I understand it. The Void Elves is where I'm really most confused on, and the Nightborn I'm more interested about how Blizzard is going to frame the story. So again, last statement, if you don't like spoilers or reaction videos, then this video is probably not for you. But as somebody who is just rocking back and forth looking for some content, I am really excited to see more about allied races, so this is why I'm doing this kind of a video. Without further ado, let's dive into the footage.
The Void. A force of infinite hunger. Its whispers have broken the will of dragons and lured even the Titan's own children into madness. Sages and scholars fear the Void, but we understand a truth that they do not. That the Void is a power to be harnessed, to be bent by a will strong enough to command it. The Void has shaped us, changed us, but you will become its master. Wield the shadows as a weapon to save our world and defend the Alliance.
Now, there's a few things that could be said about the Void Elves, and the weirdest thing about it is they're really hyping up the whole Void concept. They're really hyping up the idea that they're from the Void, where we were thinking that the Void is going to be one of our enemies. First it's going to be the demons, then it was going to be the dark blueberries. But when you take a look at it, I still don't get the concept. I like the idea of Void Elves, I like the idea of Blood Elves being given to the Alliance, and I like what they've done with them in terms of facial hair, some of the hair colors, the bright bits at the tips of their ponytails, but I still don't get it because in a way they're framing it like warlocks. Warlocks can be humans, can be orcs, anybody that uses otherworldly powers. So something like Fel can normally be very harmful, and we've seen demons and orcs corrupted and face them in warlords, but you can also use that as a weapon, hence why we have warlock as a class. So in a way, this is kind of, it seems like they're framing Void Elves as those are harnessed powers that nobody understands and others find evil. Even though there's no good or bad with the light and the void, it's really just a gray area, as we saw with the Illidan cutscene and the Naru in the past. I'm still not quite sold on Void Elves in terms of their setup. I like the idea of Belfs for the Alliance, but I just don't know. It just seems like they're overhyping the whole Void thing. To me, it still personally doesn't make sense, but I'm excited nonetheless.
Greetings, Lady Liadrin, champion. Welcome back to Suramar. I am pleased to receive you under more pleasant circumstances.
It is good to see your city free, First Arcanist.
For that, we owe you both a great debt. You proved instrumental to our cause.
The Horde was proud to fight by your side against the Burning Legion, my lady.
I must admit, when I first learned of the Horde, I was skeptical that we would share common ground. I thought our kin from Kalimdor would make obvious allies, but their arrogance and mistrust soon proved otherwise.
Arcanist Thalyssra, I remember where your order stood in the War of the Ancients. How do we know you won't betray us and become the next Elisand, the next Ajara?
We do not intend to be slaves to the Nightwell. We seek to drive the Legion from Suramar and put an end to Elisand's oppression.
The Kaldori will fight to see the Legion defeated and the Nightwell destroyed. Beyond that, we shall see where Elun's wisdom guides us.
It would seem Elun's wisdom guided her away from the bond we once shared. So be it.
The Sindori are also scorned by Tyrande and her prideful lot. Yet for many ages, her people slept in dens or hid in trees while my people fought to save this world.
The Alliance feels too walled off, too cloistered. My people will never endure such stagnation again. That is why I am grateful for your invitation to Silvermoon. I would like to inquire whether there could be a place for the Nightborn in your...
First Arcanist Thalysra, and honored guests, welcome to Silvermoon.
It is a pleasure to visit your fine city at last. Thank you for extending the invitation, Regent Lord.
Please, call me Lorthamar. But where are my manners? Allow me to introduce another guest, Lady Alleria Windrunner, a hero of Silvermoon's past.
An unexpected honor, Lady Windrunner. Silgren told me of your courage during the campaign on Argus.
The honor is mine, First Arcanist. I do not mean to intrude upon your visit. Perhaps I should return another time.
Nonsense. Whatever you came to say, you may say in front of our guests.
As you wish. I come bearing an offer from High King Anduin
I had hoped your visit was motivated by a love for Silvermoon. Instead, you come at the behest of the Alliance's Boy King. How disappointing.
Cutting words, Lorthamar. Are they yours, I wonder? Or has the dutiful ranger I knew become the mouthpiece of your war chief?
You doubt my words, yet how can we trust your own? Do you deny that the Lords of the Void whisper to you? Did you not surrender yourself to the shadows on Argus?
It seems the offer I bring has been anticipated and spurned. Very well. But before I leave, I have one request. It has been 1,000 years since I set eyes upon the Sunwell. May I visit it once again?
I advise against it. We cannot trust that she will not—
Whatever she has become, Alleria is a daughter of Quel'Thalas. I will not deny her pilgrimage to our most sacred site. First Arcanist, you and your retinue would be welcome to join us.
I would consider it an honor to see the Sunwell, Lorthamar. And I prefer that my friends call me Thalysra.
Romoth, kindly open the way for us. Please, follow me.
Okay, that was absolutely insane. We all were wondering how Battle for Azeroth is going to be framed, and the idea is they're framing it in a more faction versus faction conflict. I did not expect this kind of almost politics to be playing left and right. And it's almost like, yeah, we're fighting the Legion, we fought Sir Garrus, we fought Argus, like we're fighting all these colossal threats that are about to destroy the in-game world. But here we're going back towards the basics, the Horde versus Alliance. And in a way, this almost kind of reminds me of the prequels for Star Wars. Not the fact that they were bad, but the politics behind it. I was actually surprised that there was a connection between the Shal'Dorei, which I guess I would call the Nightfallen. I might call them Shal'Dorei. There's a bunch of different elves, and the fact is, we don't really know, well, an average viewer doesn't know, exactly how they relate to each other and how far back in history do they go. So this was very insightful and very cool. Gives us a little bit of an explanation why the Nightborn would want to side with the Horde. It kind of also combines with the Blood Elves. They're in a way siding with Blood Elves and what Blood Elves are all about. And there's a lot of these shared experiences and shared values on the faction where you wouldn't see. I mean, it's a little surprising, and I thought to myself, how are they going to frame the High Elves, the Shal'Dorei, the Nightborn? How are they going to frame them as this whole upper class, you know, drinking wine, and at the same time part of the Horde, which they just don't fit in? They are also bringing in the Night Elves, and which leads us to begin the idea that maybe a Teldrassil will somehow step into all of this. The fact that Night Elves don't like Shal'Dorei from previous histories also throws a little bit of an example where, okay, they have to choose one side, and it makes sense why they would choose the Horde. The next part completely blew me away with more politics, as we have an Alliance character, one of the Alliance heroes in the Horde city, mingling with Blood Elves and the Nightborn. Alleria Windrunner siding with the Alliance, and you could just see the Blood Elves at one point actually did have a hand extended towards them by Varian Rin. But with the Boy King taken over, you could kind of just see how they have a distaste and distrust towards the rest of Alliance. And it almost feels like maybe Alliance is destabilized more than ever. And with Sylvanas being the war chief, Blood Elves followed Sylvanas in the past. Blood Elves joined the Horde thanks to Sylvanas. It feels like there's more bonding of what Blood Elves are and where they stand. For the longest time, Blood Elves felt like kind of side race, like the pretty race, and they didn't fit with the rest of the riffraff, the orcs, the tauren, the trolls. They were the unwanted races, and they made their own capital. So the fact that Blood Elves are more solidifying their ground with the Horde, I just like the fact that Blizzard is taking the time to explain it. I also want to take a note that I like the dialogue. In the past, with Blizzard games, mostly World of Warcraft, the dialogue and the way it goes off, like where characters cut each other off, it almost felt like there was a little bit of awkwardness, but it feels like they got the perfect timing for it, and it adds even more cinematic experience towards the whole thing. Even though it's just a simple pan of the camera and characters talking with a voiceover, but I feel like it just draws you into the story more. Again, I actually do dig the politics behind it all. And just the fact that Blizzard has taken this kind of approach to explain the story, which in my eyes makes sense.
For 10,000 years, Suramar was the only world we knew. As the ages passed, Azeroth changed around us and fell into the Legion's grasp. To secure our people's future, you must help reclaim our place in Azeroth. Venture forth alongside new allies, and show the world that the legacy of the Nightborn is one of nobility and strength.
My fellow soldiers, the trials you have endured are proof that the light shines bright within your hearts. One final test remains, and it is the most daunting of all. It will force you to peer into the very core of what you are, of what you believe yourself to be. Many worthy Draenei have undergone this trial, only to return broken, or worse. Should you feel the slightest doubt, turn back now. It will be counted as wisdom, not cowardice. But if you are truly ready, step forward and embrace your fate. Tepartos, we have discussed this. Each initiate must be accompanied by a second. Where is yours?
Tepartos needs no one to aid him.
The last initiate who attempted the trial alone came back in pieces. Choose a second or head back to the barracks.
So be it. Tepartos shall bring this puny one.
An unorthodox choice, but technically within the rules. I have never known our champion to back down from a challenge. Let the trial begin. Light be with you both.
Tepartos!
We are soldiers. Through millennia of struggle, the light has shown us the true path. And in turn, we have been reborn as instruments of its power. You are light forged. You must stand as a beacon of hope against the darkness. But to those who would threaten this world or attack our allies, you will embody the light's wrath.
Wow. Am I the only one who got like cultist vibes here? the whole Lightforged Draenei, and my question was, how are they going to integrate themselves? And that one made the most sense. You know, they're Lightforged Draenei. At one point, they were normal Draenei, so they would see the other Draenei and say, yeah, you look like family, so I guess we'll join the alliance. I guess we can stop sailing the space and settle down on a planet with normal gravity and grass, like the hoofed beasts we should. But apparently, these guys are fanatic. I mean, I understand that we're talking about the hope and protecting the world, but it felt like the music, it felt like the voices, it felt like the language they used, in a way, talks about hope and protecting the world as a disguise. We saw how the Naru treat others, and the fact that the light isn't always good. So this honestly gave me chills. Some kind of a trial, some kind of a proving ground for these Lightforged Draenei, and something about them coming back in peace. I mean, I just want to see more of this. I actually want to see more. This feels more sinister than anything. For the longest time playing World of Warcraft, I thought the light was like, you know, there's the good, the bad guys, there's the Alliance and Horde, the first gray area, but the light and dark always have to be different, kind of like the undead and the paladins. They have to be different. One is bad, one is good. And it made sense that light is good. But with what Legion have done and what they're doing in the future, again, this feels like it's one of those ways that Blizzard is finding ways to make the next expansion without some massive, huge, you know, threat looming over our heads, to make the game interesting and make it more about factions, especially the whole Horde versus Alliance and how they will integrate. This, so far, has been awesome. This has been amazing to watch, and the fact that they're doing even more stuff with Draenei, where they're taking normal Draenei and making them Lightforged. I mean, it's crazy. I like it. I want to see more. It's probably going to be like crazy, kind of like the ex-girlfriend kind of crazy, but I want to see more of this cult of the Lightforged Draenei.
High Mountain stands. These words speak of more than earth and stone. They tell the history of our people, enduring hardship and conflict to unite against common foes. The time has come for you to venture beyond our sacred peaks. Walk the path that Hun took so very long ago, and bring honor to the name High Mountain.
Well, the High Mountain Tauren makes the most sense. They're Tauren, and we have the normal Tauren, and they're connected. They are blood. So, like the Void Elves, who easily just chose Alliance just because Alliance, we don't have some crazy politics being played here. This is basically family reconnecting with family. The High Mountain Tauren and their chieftain joining up with the chieftain of the Horde. Tauren joining with other Tauren, and it just makes the most sense. You don't need politics here. I personally love that we get to see more of Tauren culture, more of Tauren history from the High Mountain Tauren. You see the big totems and the structures and just the grandiose of it. And I love it. It's something we don't really get to see regularly in cutscenes and quest lines. It's something you have to go read up on the wiki from time to time. But I love it. I love all of it. And I cannot wait to sink my teeth into BFA. Well, anyway, guys, this is everything. All the cutscenes and my descriptions and commentary on it. I personally like the politics that they're trying to play in. I thought to myself, how are they going to make an expansion without some big looming threat? And I feel like Blizzard is doing just fine. I feel like the cutscenes improved, I feel like the audio has improved, I feel the story has a lot to write about. There's still a lot of mystery that we are not sure about, and a lot more to discover. But I'm super excited, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments all your thoughts. Do you like the politics, or do you think it should be all about the bloodshed, all about the warfare, just Horde versus Alliance? We hate them because they're different kind of deal. Or are you a huge fan of this whole political structure and how they're trying to frame the factions and how they're, you know, siding with one another, how they're lining up against one another? Because I'm personally a huge fan of that. Let me know all your thoughts in comments below. Did you like the Draenei? The cultist-like looking Draenei. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Let me know anything you thought was interesting in the comments, and I'd like to read it. As always, like the video if you enjoy it. Likes allow my videos to get more views and more people to watch them. Hit subscribe if you want to see more updates for BFA. Hit the bell notification next to the subscribe button in order to catch streams, which we do every single day, except for today, which is Thursday. Today is a day off. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in another video.